Hi Flosstube friends, it's Mel and welcome back to my channel Patchy Pony Stitcher. Today is the 30th of December 2019 and it's going to be a stinker today. It's going to be 40 degrees Celsius, which in Fahrenheit's about 104, so it's an inside day, which means sorting stitching out for 2020 with the aircon on and plenty of gin and tonics for me today, I reckon. So what have I got for you today? I am going to do a whip parade, or as I'm going to call it a stitch and ditch, because I'm going to decide what I'm taking with me into 2020 and what I'm going to be leaving behind in 2019 as a UFO. And I won't be coming back to those because I've got so many plans, so many things I want to start. So why hold on to things that are just sitting there that don't grab me and talk to me? But first of all, I want to say welcome to my new subscribers. We're nearly at 1,000. I'm so excited. I'm going to do a big giveaway for a 1,000 subscriber giveaway. And if you're returning back to me, thank you. I really appreciate you coming and hanging out and checking out what I'm going to be showing you today. Now, first of all, what I'm going to show you is an old finish from before when I started, like 15 years ago when I was stitching. I only did, I think, 2 fully completed projects back then, and I've showed you back in video 1 or 2 my teddy bears on a line, and I came across this the other day, which is one that I stitched 15, 20 years ago. I don't even know what it was called. It was out of a Better Homes and Gardens magazine, and it's a bowl of lemons, oranges and limes. Sorry for the glare. Fully framed professionally. I really still like it, but the colour of my walls, as you can see behind, is like an olive green and the brown. So unfortunately the blue doesn't really go with my decor anymore. So I'm thinking about taking this out of the professional framing and just remounting it with the yellow and or just without any mat board at all, and repurposing the frame. So that is my old finish that I came across. Now I have 2 new finishes for this month since you've seen me last. The first one I have is from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. It is called Hello Pumpkin. Now what am I going to put behind it? So fully completed, fully finished. This was a mystery sale that had parts released along the way, and you didn't really know what the completed picture would look like. I used 16 count Rit dyed Ada and DMC as close to as possible as the colours that I had from my stash. So really happy that this one's finished, so I can get that fully framed ready for autumn, for my autumn display. I really love how this turned out, and that owl I just love. I'm going to keep this pattern and use the owl for maybe a small along the way somewhere. Now the other finish which I'm really excited about is my Oz from Aury TM. Now this was a stitch along that I was doing with Cheryl from Tranquil Stitches, and we decided as we got closer and closer to the finish that we were sort of going to FaceTime each other, but it was just a manic time of the year, so we decided we'd just be on Messenger together, and we put in our final stitches together for this one, which was really fun. We started it together, we finished it together, and they are so different. I'm going to pop a photo in here of what Cheryl's looks like and see if I can get them side by side for you. Now I'll just try and get mine back a bit. So I did mine on 32 count opalescent even weave from Sparkly, so it's got a bit of a sparkle. And I think, yes, Cheryl did hers on also a 32 count even weave. I used DMC and a little bit of others. Now I'm going to do a bit of a close-up. I'll pop that in here. Here's a bit closer look at each motif. So first of all, we've got the lion. Then we've got the balloon that was right at the end. And as you can see, well, in the chart that actually says State Fair, and I changed it to put my initials in and the name of the chart. Then we've got the Emerald City, the rainbow, which took me ages to work out why there was a rainbow until I rewatched the movie and she started singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Then we've got the Munchkins. Then we've got Dorothy and Toto, which I used a variegated thread for Dorothy's dress from Silks for You. We've got Glinda, that's her representation. We've got the Poppies, the sleeping Poppies. Of course, the yellow brick road that goes up to Emerald City. We've got the bucket for the bucket of water that killed the witch. The Tin Man, which I think should have actually included another little bit on the end there to even it up a little bit. We've got the apple trees, a crow and the scarecrow's hat, the tornado and Dorothy's home, the heart, flying monkeys. I'm not really sure what this one's meant to represent. I'm sure it's something, but if you think you might know, let me know in the comments below. We've got Elphaba, the Wicked Witch, and that is Oz. Oh, can I go any taller? There we go. So happy with that. So next time you see it, it will be framed. So now what to do with it? How am I going to finish this guy? I think I'm going to frame him because it's quite big. And I think I really want this in my craft room. I'm really pleased with how it turned out. It's not something I'd have on display out in the family room. So it'll be something feminine, I think, for my craft room. So really happy with how Oz from Aury TM came out. It is, Aury TM's not, her patterns aren't available anymore. So if you see them on D-Stash or Etsy, grab them because they don't come up very often. Mine, I got off a stash unloading and the quality of the chart's not fantastic. It was really hard to read, but I'm so pleased that I struggled through it and got that done. And now I can start my Alice, which is also by Aury TM, and they'll be companion pieces, and Shirl and I have planned to do that next year together. Hopefully mine will come up in my Mania wheel of new starts and we can begin that one together. So let's get on with my stitch and ditch. Currently I have 20, now that I've got 2 finished, bear with me. Okay, so currently I have 26 whips. My maximum is 31, so that only leaves me 5 spots for Stitch Mania next year. I've got a few that are close to a finish, but not quite there yet. So in saying that, May is a fair way away. So I do think I'm going to get a few of these finished before Mania rolls around, which will open up a few more spots. Now, this is not going to be in any particular order because I've just got a pile of bags, a big pile. Let's see if we can get some of those down. Now my first one is my big one, my favorite, my Prairie Romance. If you're a regular with me, you've seen that plenty of times before. It's on a big frame, so you won't get to see that one today, but that one is staying. That's a stitch in 2020. The next one I've been working on, now everything's going to be in Q snaps, isn't it? So I think I'm going to have to do a quick, bear with me. Actually, that one I can show you from there. Okay, so one of the whips that I've been working on over Christmas appropriately is my Jardin Privé Christmas, which is this guy. Nice, easy, take along with you stitch. I even took this to work with me on Christmas Day. Yes, I had to work on Christmas Day. And because it was awfully quiet, there was plenty of time for stitching. Oops, there's a needle. So this is where we are up to with Christmas. Loving the colours, loving how, before Christmas period, I only had this little corner motif, the church and the word, and a few of the buttons in the middle that I had used for challenges. So I've done quite a bit over the Christmas period, and I'm really, really still enjoying this one. So that one is definitely a stay. So this one is in a project bag that I made myself. not my favorite project bag, but I used a horse rug offcuts where I cut the neck rug off that, so it even smells horsey. So I love that one. Where am I going to put all these? Bear with me. Ugh. For my pile, it'll probably... Next, I have Tea Crazy by Lizzie Kate. Now, if you have been with me for a while, you would have known that I did this one and I was really happy with my finish, and then I went to fully finish it and I was using some glue and I ruined it. And it ended up not being an FFO, but a throw out in the rubbish. And so I was really disappointed, still wanted to stitch it. So this is, I was working on this one last night actually while watching telly. Now this one, I am adapting some words. So you can't see, but I've done the 3 teacups, the teapot, and mine is going to say a cup of tea is a hug in a cup, rather than a hug in a mug, which rhymes, because we don't drink tea out of mugs, we drink tea out of teacups. So this one is definitely going to stay in my stitching whip pile, and this one I'm hoping to finish very shortly. Shell's released a new challenge, so unfortunately that doesn't fit with any of my challenge pieces, but I will come back to that one because I've got some great plans on how I want to finish that one off. I want to re-attempt what I tried to do last time by making it into a giant tea bag. And as you can see, because it's 14 count tea-dyed Ada, I've got plenty of fabric there to try and make that into a standing up tea bag. But we'll see how good my sewing skills are when that rolls around. Okay, what have we got next? Another project bag that I made myself for the Toy Story. We have the blue flower. The Quilting Bee. Now this one was a very, what's the word? It's not anxious. I was busting to start this one during Mania and it finally came up and I've hardly touched it. This is all I've got on it. Just the little bee bottom. Lots to go. But that one will be staying in my whip pile. So that is a stitch. We have to just keep putting these back away, otherwise it'll be a disaster if I don't. So that is going onto my stitch pile. The next one I have is in my Outlander bag by Teaser Handmade with my little sword, one of my favorite project bags. And in this one we've got a favorite again, which is my Plum Street Samplers Yellow Polka Dot Bikweenie. This one's on 20 count blue Ada. I've had a little bit of a battle with it from time to time. I'm not really happy because I've done 2/1, so it's a little bit bulky, but I'm going to persevere. And this is where we are, not very far along at all. So this one is going to get some attention today or tomorrow because it fits a challenge from Cheryl's weekly challenge. So that one, as you can tell, will be going into the stitch pile. So we'll zipper him up. Next, we have, I've got this one in a laptop bag. So I don't even know what it is. What have we got here? Oh, this one. This is a bit of a favorite, and this is going to become a stitch along with Carolyn from the Sassy Devils because she's beginning it also, so it's always had fun to stitch with someone. And this is my Quaker Christmas 2. Terrible cover page, especially when you print it off in black and white, but all the bottom's all crinkled up and looks terrible. So this one I am stitching on 32 count Ada, not Ada, I'm stitching on 32 count even weave, just a sort of like an antique white, and I am using the DMC 115 variegated thread on this. So I wanted some variegation, and this is where I'm up to. Not a great deal, but this one I really, no, that's not how we do it. It is that way. That looks better. Really enjoy doing the motifs. I took this one to Manila with me and got a bit of work done on it, so that one is definitely staying, and that's probably my number 2 favourite at the moment after Prairie Romance. So that is Quaker Christmas 2. So he's staying in the stitch pile too. Are we keeping count? Probably not. Next, another project bag that I made myself. And in this one we've got a Plum Street one. It is Merry You. A nice small. Haven't worked on this one for a little while. I think I did a little bit of work before Christmas on it. It's like early December, where I've just got the trees and the beginning of the grey sheep. Now, you can't even really see it on the pattern, but between the trees, it's actually, there we go, it's actually fully coveraged. I'm not doing that. I think I'll just put some little snow drifts under each tree, because, yeah, and I think because I've stitched it on 16 count Ada, it's not gonna fit in a tart tin. So I might, not even sure how I'm gonna finish that one. I'd still like to keep it on a round finish, but we'll see how we go. So Merry You is going into the stitch pile. Oops, don't bend it up. Haven't got rid of any yet, have I? The next one I have, now this is a project that I haven't actually stitched it on myself yet. This beautiful bag was given to me as a gift from my friend Emily, and it's another teaser handmaids bag. And also the project inside it is also being gifted to me, but I haven't put a stitch in yet. This is the Fire and Ice that Tash started and brought along to the Mittagong Stitches retreat as a freebie for anyone who would have liked to work on it. So I snagged that little baby up, didn't I? So this is how much Tash has completed on Fire and Ice. Look at those colours and how vibrant that red is on the black. The photo just doesn't do it any justice at all. Isn't that just, I just love looking at the colours. That doesn't do it justice. So if you've thought about this chart, do it, because the colours just look so beautiful. So I've finished kitting, because when Tash passed it along, it came with obviously the fabric and the chart. So I have got that one sorted now that I've got the DMC to complete it. So that was one that got added to my WIP list without any regret. So that one will definitely be staying on my stitch pile, Fire and Ice. I need to find one to ditch, don't I? Okay, actually, this is another teaser handmade bag. This is one I won at a raffle with the Mittagong Stitches Retreat. Now this actually might be my first stitch. Will it be? I don't know. This was a Mania start. It is called French Heart by Shepherd's Bush. Really hard to see photo. So, and this is how far I had, oh gosh. This is how far I got along with it during Mania. Excuse all the threads because I've parked them and they're everywhere. That's as far as I got along. Now it's got some, I don't know, it doesn't call to me, but I don't want to quite give up on it yet. It's got a cute little, oh, not that you can see because it's so, is that going to focus? Let's see if I can get that. It's got a cute little sheep, house, heart. Oh, I'm going to put that in a maybe pile for at the moment, because it does have some specialty stitches in it, which I like doing specialty stitches. I want to learn them. So on a small little project like that, I don't feel like it's too daunting to do the specialty stitches. But I don't know if I just like the white, because it's not full coverage and there's a lot of blank vacant spots in it. So let's put that one in a maybe pile for now. Right. Another teaser handmade bag. My Outlander one. I got this at Mittagong. I love it. Got my little scissor fob, which I turned into a zipper finder from Creative Curator. Beautiful little ones there. Now what have we got in here? We have Winter Squirrel. We know this is staying. And this is how far I've got along with Winter Squirrel. So a fair way, good chunk of his body. I've got the fun stuff to do. So I'm trying to do all the boring bits first. So I've got his jumper and his head, and then I've got the little Christmas tree of acorns to do. So that one is staying in my stitch pile. You get back in there with Jamie. Love my Outlander bag. Okay, what do we got next? This is another bag that I made myself. It's a bee bag. And we've got Blossom. Now I really, really, really like this one, but I haven't touched it since Mania, only because it hasn't come up in any challenges. So I might have to do some extra creative thinking to make sure I can get to it this year. So this is Blossom. Isn't that pretty? Really sweet. And it's like, to me it's wintry, but blossoms are in the spring. But I just think that is gorgeous. And it came with the buttons and the little crochet doilies. Couldn't resist that one. So as I said, I haven't touched it since Mania. That's it. It's pretty plain and boring at the moment. But really once we get into, where's the pattern gone again? Once we get into doing the trees and the flowers, I think that one will zoom along. So that one is staying in the stitch pile. Okay, so that's Blossom. Got that one off a Stash and Load, which I think was a good find because it's gorgeous. Okay, another project bag that I made myself, which is a Christmas one. Oops, got some thread stuck in there. And this is Jingle Bell. Now this is the Love Company, and it's a few different smalls in one, and I'm stitching on the wreath. Now the whole chart is called Jingle Bells, even though there's no jingle bells in it. And I'm going to be using this for a prompt in an upcoming challenge this week. And that's how far that I've got along with it. And again, this is not one that I've touched since May. So this shouldn't take, it shouldn't take too long if I just sat down and did it. So, nice little sweet wreath. Probably be really nice on a really fine count. I've got it on a 32 even weave. So that one is staying Jingle Bells, even though it's a wreath. Can you see that pile growing? Not yet. Okay. This one is in my bag that Cheryl made me with the cocks on it, Michelle. Now this one doesn't have a chart to show you. And this one's a bit of a personal one. I don't like really sharing this one because it's my own charting, my own work. So always feels a little bit awkward showing this one, but it is staying in my pile because I am determined to finish this one. This is my sampler of firsts. So if you've been with me before, you've seen this. This is, I keep all my ticket stubs from concerts that I go to, and I've got them, well, a lot of them framed in a long, narrow, sort of like a bell pull style thing. So now I'm doing a cross stitch to accompany my ticket stubs, and these are all the artists and the year that I went to see them live. So this is only the beginning of a very long piece. So that one will be staying because it's taken a lot of hours to chart my my sampler of firsts. And if you want to know why I call it the sampler of firsts, you'll have to go back and watch the videos, because there's a lot of reasons why. So sampler of firsts, stitch pile. Okay, what else have we got? This bag is in my Diana Kismet bag. And oh, now this one's a bit of a favourite too. I've been working on this one quite a lot this year. I took this to Manila, and I also took this to Mittagong. It's called In My Garden There Is by Filigram. Nice little sweet, I don't know if you can call it a sampler. I'm not really sure if it fits into that category. Lots of little motifs. Now this one I'm playing fabric chicken because I did not count it out right, and I'm way too close to the edge. So I've sewn a bit of fabric on just so I can pop it into the Q-snap, but really I've got maybe 6 squares left on that side, and this fabric may even stay to help as part of my finishing. So that is where we are within my garden. So quite a bit of work to go on that one, but once again, really enjoying that little one. Might fold that this time rather than just scrunch it up. Whoop. Okay, now in this basket, this is my final one, and this project's just in a tote bag that I got from Thailand, but it might have to go into a bigger proper project bag because it's going to be a focus for me in my cross stitches journal group. We're focusing on 3 whips this year. And this is one that I want to get done. It used to be a favourite, not so much anymore, is my Farms of Hawk Run Hollow. But it's not one that I can bring myself to ditch because I've put so much work into it. Oh, what was that? You can hear needle minders bouncing off. Magnets hitting the floor. I've put a lot of work into this guy. And I don't think you've seen it fully for a while because I have it all pegged in. So I'm just going to unpeg that so you can. So Farms of Hawk Run Hollow is going to be finished in 2020. Now this is what I've done thus far. So lots of work. And I've only really been using it for challenges, but because we've now got a focus challenge for 12 months, it's going to see a lot more work. So you'll be prepared to see more and more of this. I'm not going to show it the full entire piece every time because I need to be able to have it all folded securely for when I'm working on it. So that is my Farms of Hawk Run Hollow 14 count T-dye Ada and DMCs. So I do like it, don't get me wrong, I do like this one. It's just, it's taking longer than I have ever anticipated it to. So I think it sort of got to me and I was just like, oh, it's just such a drag because it takes so long. Okay, so that is, so they're the ones that I keep in a basket like this next to my stitchy spot. The next lot I'm going to show you is ones that really probably haven't seen the light of day that are in my craft room. So what have I got for you first up? Okay, so this one is Snowy Foxes or Frosty Forest. Nice little, it doesn't really scream Christmas to me, so I'm sort of keeping this as a winter display chart. Again, a mania start, and oh, is that it? A whole tree. Nice variegated thread though, so I really like the way the one tree came out. So that one I'm going to keep and stitch because it's small. Even though I haven't touched it since mania, I'm going to keep it. Right. Another little laptop bag. What have we got in this one? We have the Drawn Thread Spot of Autumn. Again, this is one that I did for mania, and oh, I've done a bit. I have done that much. Now I don't mind that one. I think it's the tree's quite pretty. This again has some specialty stitches in it, and it is part of a set because it's got NOPQRS, which I think I was going to change and just write something else in there. So let's persevere with a Spot of Autumn and put that in the stitch pile. This one is going to be the first stitch. I know this one because every time it comes up, I hate it. And even when I started it, I didn't love it. I started it at mania. It's out of the magazine, so it's quite pretty to look at, but it just didn't start well. And when something doesn't start well, it tends not to get picked up again, does it? So this is called Autumn Sampler, and it is going to be ditched. It's on a 14 count tea-dyed Ada, and boom, that's all I've done. I mucked it up. Even though doesn't look hard, I just couldn't get the counting right, so I know it's fudged already and terrible. And it's going. I'm going to keep the threads. So the phone rang. Typical, isn't it? Because I record on my phone, so I should remember to put it onto airline mode when I'm filming. Where was I? Okay, so we were talking about an Autumn Sampler. 14 count tea-dyed Ada, DMC, and as Debbie would say from Creatively Yours, ditch, that's gone. One down. We'll put the threads to a side and we will reuse those. The next one I have is in my Sassy Devils pouch from Sassy Devils project from a Sassy Devils. Oh, this one, I do like this one. So this is by Teresa Vanette or Shakespeare's Peddler. Pale Pumpkins, it's really hard to see actually, Pale Pumpkins pincushion. And I am doing, and this came with the DMC when I got it, but I did add in a Victorian motto variegated thread, and I haven't done a huge amount, and I did change the pumpkins to a bit more of a, they've got quite pale pumpkins, that hence the name, but I've changed it. Have I even got it around the right way? I think so. So this one I would like to turn into and do something similar by popping it onto a candle stand. So that one is a stitch. So that one can go back into its little pouch. And that can go onto my stitch pile. Next is in another Toy Story project bag that I made myself. And this one is Abby Rose Designs a spring pin pillow. Quite like this one too for my spring decor. And again, a mania start, haven't really touched it, and we've got that far. This is on a nice linen that it came with. Linen or I think it's linen. and the DMCs. So that one is going back into its project bag, and that is going to be a stitch. Next, can't remember what this one is. This is in a laptop bag. Oh, it's in a Q-snap. This is Autumn Squirrel by the Blue Flower. This one I've done quite a bit of work on the squirrel. So, oh, this is the one that I wish I'd flipped the colours around. Because he was, I didn't use the called for colours. I think I'm using, what am I using? A motto? Yeah, two Victorian mottos. And the pattern called for the darker bit to be the highlights and the lighter bit to be the squirrel. So I'm hoping once I stitch a bit more on that, it will reignite my love for it. So that one is going to go onto the stitch pile. Another, what do you call it? Laptop bag. Okay, this one I'm undecided about as well. I don't have a chart to show you. It's a mystery sale by Caterpillar Cross Stitch called Stitchmas. And it's 12 baubles with the song on it, and then it forms a Christmas tree. And I've only done 4. I've made lots of mistakes, but damn, I've put some work into that. And I think once it's done, I'll put a picture here. I think once it's done, it's actually quite nice. And it would make, it's a nice bright piece. But it doesn't call me. And I think because I've made so many mistakes with the baubles, I'm gonna ditch it. I'm not gonna throw this one over my shoulder because it's got a Q-snap on it and also a lovely little clay needle minder from Meng, House of Meng. So let's just pretend to chuck it, but that's gonna stay. I mean, it's stitched, but I'm not gonna chuck the, so that is 2 down. So what did I say? I had 26, so now I'm down to 24. Another needle minder, oh God, another laptop bag, and okay. This one, this was also started for Mania. I bought this off eBay, and when I got it, it's quite big. I didn't look at the stitch count, but do you know what ticks me off even more? That I paid for it, and it was a free chart. So someone, and stupid me, my own fault, I should have done the research. But like some of these pages don't have anything on them. They're just... So I started stitching this on a big piece of 14 count, maybe 16 count Ada, like it's huge. And I did the tree, where are we? So I started with the star. I'm not gonna do this one. I think I'm gonna unpick that small start and reuse the fabric for something else and ditch it. I liked it in concept, but once I started stitching it, it's a little bit vacant for my liking, so ditch. That takes me down to 25 whips. Another project bag. And this one is staying for sure. This is December by the Cricket Collection. And this is on a Sparkly's opalescent fabric, and I haven't done a lot. As you can see, it's quite a large piece. And I haven't got back stitching to do in that one, but I really like that one. And Emily also gave me Christmas as well. when I was at Mittagong, and because they're virtually like they're same, is it the same amount of letters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, even though I've stitched December at the top, I've still got quite a bit of fabric underneath. And I'm thinking about stitching Christmas in December in one whole piece, but then I'd have to get it framed professionally and have like 2 long oblongs and then the little in. But I think that's really sweet, Christmas in December. Like I might change a few of the colours so it's a bit more wintry type for the Christmas one. But I think that would be really nice. Like I can see it in my mind. It's going to take a long time to finish, so and that's why they're together. So we'll call December a stitch. Another project bag, and this has in it, now this one's going to be a toughie. This has got Queen Bee in it. I started this, do I even have a cover sheet? Yes, I do. I started this after I did my full coverage Horses at Sunset. Now this is full coverage, but I had decided that I'd only do the bee, and yet the bee is massive. This is what I've done. You'll probably call me crazy. I've done that much. Lots of confetti. Let's take that needle minder off for starters. It's really hard to throw out work when you know how many hours it takes to do that. But it just... doesn't talk to me anymore. I do like the pattern as a whole, but there's no way that I'd stitch all that full coverage. And there's so many cute bee ones. So I'm sorry, Queen Bee. It's time to go. Alright, and my final one is out of a book, which is bulky. Why can't I open this thing? I've got it in like one of these pouches, but I can't seem to open it. Oh dear. How can I cannot open? There we go. Oops. Now this one is called Stitch Cards and Gift Tags. I think I got it off a Stash Unloading. And I am doing those poppies as part of a Remembrance Day display. And I've got so far that. So again, not one that I've done a lot of work on since Mania. But I think it's only a sweet little stitch. So and I've done, and I'll re-show you again. I've done so I've done that flower there. So I've really only got that one big flower to do. And if I did that in one sitting, then we'll keep that one. Okay. So we ditched 1, 2, 3, 4. And I've still got an unknown. The phone rings again. This time it's my son. Being a hot day, got to be on alert, so I can't really have the phone off. So back to French Heart. Would I choose this one over some of my new Mania starts? The answer's no. I would choose something new from my 40 odd, like I've got 40 loaded into my wheel. My Tiny Decisions app ready for Mania, and I've kitted up probably 2/3 of those. So if this was brand new, would I put this into my wheel for new whips? So I think that tells me it's time to ditch. So how many did we ditch? We ditched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, oh, and Prairie Romance 20. So I managed to get rid of 6. So we are now down to 11 new starts for Mania, and I'm going to get through some of these before Mania because it's still 5 months away, 5 months away, or 4 whole months away of stitching. So lots to get started with there. Got a big challenge coming up with the Cross Stitches Journal paid group. I'm also in Enchanted Stitches, so some stitching challenges there. And we're nearly at 1,000 subscribers, so looking forward to doing a big giveaway. And I've quickly got a giveaway for this month, actually, I should say. So the first one that I'm going to be doing, now I should have trimmed these. These are out of magazines. They'll be tri-folded. Please be over 18 so you can give me your address, blah, 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 blah. So this is called Cheap Cheap Hop Hop, and these are an Easter design. It's a bit dark actually in that photo. So there's 3 little sweet patterns. So if you would like to stitch Cheap Cheap Hop Hop, put the word Easter in a sentence for me. The next one I have for you is also out of the same magazine, and it is an autumn type sampler. 4 different languages. Don't ask me what they are because I don't know. And again, this will be tri-folded. Quite a lovely piece. It would match the winter one, Tamara, that I'm going to send you. I still haven't posted it, but it's on its way, I promise. And finally, I've got for you a Tatty Teddy, if you're into the Tatty Teddies. Oh, now with autumn, put autumn in a sentence for me, and with the Tatty Teddy, put Teddy, not Tatty, just Teddy, into a sentence for me, and they are all yours. So I've got 3 charts there to give away. Lots of plans for 2020, well, not lots of plans, lots of stitching, but I really want to get into my new starts. I have a full coverage piece that is going to make it into Mania. I've got a sale coming up with Caterpillar cross stitch. So already there's 11 spots, 2 already retaken up. So really, I've only got 9 spots left. So it just goes to show how quickly and how easily it is to put new starts in. So I will see you come 3 weeks into January-ish with how my progress is, and then I'm back into counting stitches. So over Christmas, December, we didn't really have, we had sort of a challenge, but I was using the same piece because I really wanted to get Oz finished. So I stopped counting, or stopped working out which was the ones that I touched the most. So when I come back to you, I'll show you my most stitched on 5 pieces for from the previous video. So I hope you all have a safe and a happy new year. Wherever you are, stay safe. If you're in New South Wales, we're thinking of you down here with the fires. So especially you, Gail, that you've been in my thoughts, and I've been watching your Instagram very frequently, making sure that you're okay. So everyone stay safe, and I will see you in the new year. Bye.